Welcome to our, I think it's our first annual live IFTAR at the Manor, so to speak. We've had a couple of virtual versions of this. My name is John Joseph Massandre. It's an honor to have you here. And we have a couple of more people. Actually, there's Susie Morris. You have a seat right up here with your name on it. All right. And it's going to be a wonderful evening. People will arrive. The room was actually much colder about 2 hours ago, and I was freezing. Now it's ready for a sauna, so pardon the sauna. And it's a gift to be gathering. And when we think of the theme, make us channels of peace, it comes from the theme of when St. Francis, he met with the Sultan in 1219. And it was a gift to do that, a gift to join and gather together and discover who we are as people. When we think of ancient, before it was Turkey, it was the Ottoman Empire. Oh, you actually talk into the microphone. What a novel idea. Okay, I will do that. Okay, thank you. And St. Francis visiting the Sultan of the day. And as a beginning time, I'm going to open with a land acknowledgement. And feel free to tell me when you can't hear anybody. That's always a good idea. And there's Susan Logie, and you have a seat with your name on it. And Nancy, you're over on this side, and Ron and Bill, you're up here. Yep. Okay. As we gather for a wonderful IFTAR, we honor and thank the Huron-Wendat Nation, the Métis Nation of Ontario, Mississauga's the First Credit, Mississauga Scugog Island First Nation, and 6 nations of the Grand River as our community partners and traditional inhabitants of the land of the City of Toronto, the region of Hamilton, Durham region, and supporting areas. May we walk in the open road together. And just as an overview of tonight, say thank you to all the volunteers, our wonderful, my friends at IDI, who I've known for many years. And it all started with, what do you know about Noah's pudding? And then I remember having an event, and then we had more events, and then some IFTARs, and that's another conversation for another day. And then we're going to hear also from Alexa Gilmour, who's going to speak on stone soup. And do I see Cynthia O'Connell? I don't see Cynthia O'Connell, but a few people couldn't make it, but many people are still here. And as a way of welcoming people to our wonderful place, we call the Manor, our Chair of Executive Council, Susie Morris. So over to you.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Susie Morris. I'm the chair of the Exec Council here at Manor Road. It's so lovely to do this in person, Reverend John Joseph, because I feel like it was 2 years ago we had the virtual event. So nice to be here together. Welcome to all our guests. I was reflecting today that this is such an opportunity to come together, to pause, to connect, to better understand different cultures, different expressions of faith, new faces. And that seems so much more important now than ever. So thank you for this opportunity. Thanks for your participation, and looking forward to this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Susie, I must share with you, there was a point where I thought, wasn't sure where people would feel comfortable being in person. I phoned Hillel, said, I'm not sure if this is going to work. And then you said, I'm going to come. And I thought, okay. And you push play. Thank you, Susie, for being the push play. We always need a push play person. And I'm going to invite Hillel to come to the microphone and say, hey, Hillel is the executive director. I may not get the acronym right, Intercultural Diversity Institute. Right, dialogue. Okay, over to you. Okay.
Hello, everyone. I am Halil Yurtsever from Intercultural Dialogue Institute, and I would like to thank John.
Let's go closer to the mic. Just take your mask off.
I am Halil Yurtsever from Intercultural Dialogue Institute. I would like to thank John for accepting our invitation. I am pleased to be here. Actually, maybe we are having different faith, different belief, but at the end, our differences is our richness. And there is a saying in Arabic, عباراتنا شتى وحسنك واحد وكل إلى ذلك الجلال يشير. Maybe our phrase different, but all of us trying to reflect or to show the beauty of God. And thank you so much for accepting us. Thank you.
Thank you. And maybe a few times tonight, we might want to say Salam Alaikum, and Akal Alaikum Salam, which is a greeting, and Ramadan Mubarak, as we are still in the midst of Ramadan right now. It's amazing. In the neighborhood we live in Cabbage Town, there's two majids, and it's very inspiring watching people walking to and from prayer on Parliament Street in the wee hours of the morning. And I'm going to now introduce Mr. Gilmour Erickley, who will speak to us about Ramadan 101.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Well, I'd like to start by saying that I'm not a scholar, so forgive me if I say something wrong. The blessed month of Ramadan is coming to an end, and the Eid al-Fitr is near. I pray that this Ramadan has been very rewarding, full of charity, good deeds, reflection, repentance, and God's mercy and forgiveness for everyone. The word Ramadan in the Arabic language means to abstain. Amidst this life of modern convenience, luxury, and instant gratification, there's nothing more awakening to the realization of immense favors and bounties of Allah that's been raining down upon us than 30 days of abstinence from the base desires of the human body and soul. Muslims sincerely fast by not only abstaining from food, drink, and physical desires, but also from false speech, vain talk, foul language, lying, and any other evil deed that you may think about. So that we may learn self-restraint and develop what we call taqwa. The word taqwa is derived from the word wikaya, which means shield in Arabic. Islamic scholars have understood and interpreted this connection as such. Taqwa is to shield oneself from God's wrath by rushing toward what He has ordered and strictly avoiding that which He has prohibited. The Prophet, peace be unto him, said, "Fasting is a shield from hellfire." Whoever observes fasting in the month of Ramadan with perfect faith and seeking reward, he will have his previous sins forgiven. Who amongst us is not in need of the purification and reward which fasting brings? Fasting is the only act of worship that is for God alone, and in that nobody except Him really knows if one has met all of its conditions. For only He is all-knowing and all-seeing, and it will be God alone who will give its reward. Each day we fast seeking the pleasure of Allah, God. We are glorifying the Creator, thus instilling in our hearts more mercy towards His creation. The virtues of Ramadan are many, and it brings great joy to the hearts of those Muslims who complete it, as that is the true essence behind our celebration of Eid. The Prophet, peace be unto him, said, "When Ramadan starts, the doors of heavens are opened and the doors of hell are closed." And Allah Ta'ala says, "Every good deed of the son of Adam is multiplied in reward 10 to 700 times, except for fasting. For it is for me, and I will grant the reward for it. He leaves his passion and food for my sake. The fasting person has 2 moments of happiness. One moment when he ends his fasting for the day, and the other when he meets his Lord. And the smell which comes from the mouth of the fasting person said is more beloved to Allah, to God, than the smell of musk, which is a beautiful fragrance." With all these promises, we all desire to fast for the pleasure of God and not to render our fasting null and void. The following advice is something to take into consideration throughout this sacred month. The Prophet, peace be unto him, said, "Whoever does not abstain from deceitful speech and actions, God is not in need of him or her to leave his food and drink." One of the times of accepted dua, prayer, is right before you break your fast due to the severe hunger and thirst that you feel at that moment and the intense urge to quench it immediately. However, with a little patience, If one makes the effort to remember God and call on Him for whatever needs one has, or whatever desire that they wish to be fulfilled, then it is an opportunity one should not miss. The Prophet, peace be unto him, used to say at the time of IFTAR, breaking the fast, "O Allah, I kept the fast for you, and with your sustenance I am breaking my fast. The thirst has gone, and the veins replenished, and the reward confirmed, if Allah wills." May Allah grant us all the help to see this beautiful month of Ramadan through and reach and to reap the fruits of Ramadan. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Junar. And now we have a wonderful guest speaker, Alexa Gilmour. Alexa and I have known each other for a number of years, and we keep running into each other, building pyramids and opening bridges and breaking chains. And Alexa, one of her more recent ventures is Stone Soup. And I don't have to, everyone's heard the story of Stone Soup, but actually Alexa's taking that story and bringing it to reality and bringing change and transformation in many neighborhoods. And it's been so ecstatically exciting getting on board with Alexa, because now all of a sudden there's 4 or 5 different places where this is going to happen. But without further ado, Alexa Gilmour.
Okay, you know what? I stand here.
What I can do,
You can actually, it's going to be right fine, and then I'm just going to bring this over, and then people can see me a little bit more. Right?
better.
Woohoo! Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for the Ramadan 101, the greeting, the invitation to be here together. And I feel a little bit like this is the Stone Soup story right here. The one that I love, and as John Joseph said, that there are so many of them that most of us have heard a Stone Soup version. The one that our name, the Stone Soup Network, takes its name from, starts with a group of wise spiritual leaders. And they are roaming the countryside, and the youngest among them says, "What is the secret of harmony, of happiness?" And the wise elder among them says, "Let's go and find out." And so they walk into a town, and you can tell the moment you get in the town that something has gone horribly wrong. Every door is shut, the windows are locked, no one comes out to greet these guests, no one offers them food or a place to stay. And so these wise elders say in a very loud voice, "Come, come, today we are going to host you. We are going to make stone soup." And they get a huge cauldron and they put it in the center of town, and they light up a fire underneath it, and they begin to put stones and water into the cauldron, and they stir and they speak of how wonderful it will taste and how it will feed the whole town. And oh yes, of course, that last time we made it, there was some onions and some herbs and some potatoes, but never mind, this is going to be marvelous. And suddenly a curtain twitches and a door opens, and someone brings out a bag of onions, and someone comes rushing out with some herbs, and someone comes rushing out with potatoes, and soon every door is opening and people are bringing what they have, and they are placing it into the pot. And as they wait for the food to be prepared, they begin to talk with one another, and neighbors find themselves again as friends. And by the end of the evening, they have set up a table in the center of town that is miles long, and they have put food out, and they are laughing, and they are together, and they have discovered the secret of harmony and of happiness, which is when each one of us brings what we have been gifted by God to the table. There is more than enough. And I wonder, and my friends at Stone Soup Network wonder, what would it be like if we put a table like that in every neighborhood? If every community around the country was a Stone Soup story like we are tonight?
And so in our little neck of the woods, we began by inviting local businesses to share from their abundance. Could you do dinner for 4 for a family whose mother just went through breast cancer? Could you do dance lessons for a child who cannot afford to go to dance class? Could you do a gift card at the pharmacy for a senior who has some health issues? And every person said, we have been waiting. We have been waiting to be asked. We feel so helpless and hopeless, and we have not known how to be able to share. And the most common reaction we got was, thank you. And then we had so much at our little church. Our church had a benevolent fund of $3,000 a year before we started Stone Soup. And a benevolent fund is where the congregation donates what they can, and the minister uses that for usually food gift cards. And so $3,000 a year was what we had. The year after we started Stone Soup, we had $86,000 in goods and services to share with neighbors in need. We had too much, we had an abundance. And so then we started to connect with the social workers, the other religious leaders in town. We gave them the password to the store that was online where everything was free and you downloaded a voucher. And they began to talk with their clients, the nurse at the Four Villages Healing Center, the staff at the men's shelter, the social worker at the public school, and they printed out these vouchers. And recipients would go and meet the person at the store, and now new relationships were forming. And we began to know our neighbors. I mean, it was a bit of a joke, but the only neighbor we knew at the time was the funeral director in terms of businesses, but now we knew 30. And we knew another 25 social agencies. And we got together and we said, what else could we do? And so we began to have campaigns. When COVID came, our MPP asked us to run a mask campaign. We supported local Black student success leaders. We began to work together, solving local issues. And we quickly realized that there was a call to Stone Soup to do this elsewhere. And so the first call we got was from Ottawa. And so our first Stone Soup neighborhood was Ottawa. And by the end of this year, we're hoping to have at least 5 Stone Soup neighborhoods. And then after that, who knows? But the invitation has been always that when we share from our abundance, when we bring what we can to the table, there's more than enough to share. And so I invite, if there's a question or a reflection or a thought or some gift that you want to share, I think you were saying that there's time for questions, reflections, thoughts. So if there is something that you've heard in this piece that has stirred you, if you have a question about how Stone Soup works, I'm here to share that with you. If you have a neighborhood that wants to be a Stone Soup neighborhood, come and talk to me. If you're a business owner, come and talk to me. But know that this Stone Soup piece, whether it happens through Stone Soup Network or it happens in each one of our spaces, is the secret to harmony, to happiness, to peace. Right here, what we do right now. So thank you.
Now, people may feel shy about asking questions right now, but they may ask questions later. But I do see Cynthia O'Connell, who's come in from Glebe Road United. And Cynthia, do you want to come and share something about peacemaking at Glebe Road United? They're just over about a 5-minute walk west of here, give or take. 10-minute walk. Depends how fast. It's all relative, right? Here we go.
Thanks, JJ. I was battling with the printer, and I think it was a draw between me and the printer on who won for printing today. So I'm Cynthia O'Connell, and the minister at Glebe Road United Church. We're a very tiny church. I think probably a lot of your communities can relate to that. This past year, I had a member of my council, our governing body, who wanted to do something. She has such her name is Angie, and she has such this gift for mission, and her faith propels her to give. And so she's like, we can do something. And she was like, I've been watching on the news, as many of us has, of the crisis in Afghanistan as refugees have been coming into Canada and elsewhere. And she's like, there's this woman in Mississauga, Brampton, that she's putting together these backpacks for kids who come because her husband came from Afghanistan and he had nothing and she wants to give back. We can help with that. And so I said, okay, sure, we can help with that. She's like, I'm gonna get a hold of this woman. So she like went on Instagram and sent a message to Ashlyn. And this project has become such a central part of my community that we have bags of clothing in houses and donations that are going to these hotels where these refugees are coming. Out of this came a connection with another church saying, we hear you're interested in working with Afghanistan refugees. We have this refugee that you might be interested in Afghanistan who's looking for a sponsorship. So we said, okay, sure, we'll do that. And so from this very small little thing of one person in my small congregation saying we can do something, has built a connection with another woman and all what she's doing and has given such life to my community that, especially with COVID, I think we've gotten ourselves so inwardly focused over these past years, and understandably so, that this has given us a way to look outwards, that there are other issues in our world and that they still need attention. And so when you connect with your neighbors, with people in your community, you can do incredible things even when you're small. And so that's what I have to say to you today.
Thank you, Cynthia. You remind us, actually, my good friend and parishioner Susan Johnson, she has a wonderful person she knows who owns a hair salon, and there's a family of 7 in Turkey. We're actually Kurdish. We're trying to figure out a way to raise about 56,000 to bring them into Canada, which will, for sponsorship will. But you know, you reminded me of the story you shared about stone soup. Well, you just never know where it can go, what it can do, and it's truly remarkable. But without further ado, we have a wonderful Imam Ali Oka, who's going to speak to us about the meaning of Sufi music, and then play. If I get the kanun, right? Okay, over to you. Yeah. But explain perhaps Sufi music, and if you've never been to Turkey, highly recommend it. It's very powerful and spiritual country.
Okay, good evening, everyone. How are you today? Are you okay? Yeah. Okay, good. And first of all, I would like to, sing a song about Sufi music. And the second one, I think, Ode to Joy, we will sing together. And the last time, of course, I will play with kanun. This is the Turkish instrument. But first of all, I would like to congratulate your Easter and the Christian brothers and sisters and Jewish people and Indian and Buddhist and Ramadan as well. This is a very good month, this month, April. I think all religions is right now is here. Okay, and first of all, Sufi music. For all the sins I have committed, I repented, please accept, oh my Lord. Hear my prayers and see the tears in my eyes. I repented, please accept, oh my Lord. For sake of the Prophet Christ in the heavens, for sake of the Prophet Moses on the Mount Sinai, for sake of the Prophet Muhammad Mustafa, I repented, please accept, oh my Lord. For sake of the Prophet Christ in the heavens, for sake of the Prophet Moses on the Mount Sinai, for sake of the Prophet Muhammad Mustafa, I repented, please accept, oh my Lord. İşlediğim ne kadar günah varsa Tevbe ettim kabul eyle Allah'ım. Dilimde dua, gözümde yaşlarla. Tevbe ettim kabul eyle Allah'ım. Gökyüzünde İsa Nebi hatırına, Tur dağında Musa Nebi hatırına, Nur Muhammed Mustafa'nın hatırına, tevbe ettim kabul eyle Allah'ım. For all you have created on earth, I pray it all of them, O my Lord. Recall on your name's guide and most forgiving. I repented, please accept, O my Lord. For sake of the prophet Christ in the heavens, for sake of the prophet Moses of Mount Sinai, for sake of the prophet Muhammad Mustafa, I repented, please accept, O my Lord. For sake of the prophet Christ in the heavens, for sake of the prophet Moses on the Mount Sinai, for sake of the prophet Muhammad Mustafa, I repented, please accept, O my Lord. Yeryüzünde yarattın kim varsa, hepsi için dua ettim Allah'ım. Hadi ve Tevvab esmanı anınca, tevbe ettim kabul eyle Allah'ım. Gökyüzünde İsa Nebi hatırına, Tur dağında Musa Nebi hatırına, Nur Muhammed Mustafa'nın hatırına, tevbe ettim kabul eyle Allah'ım. Gökyüzünde İsa Nebi hatırına, Tur dağında Musa Nebi hatırına, Nur Muhammed Mustafa'nın hatırına, tevbe ettim kabul eyle Allah'ım. And the second one is together, please. If you help me, yeah, I will appreciate you. Okay, Odetta Joy. Sorry? Yeah, Odetta. I'm so sorry for translation. Okay. Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord, Allah. Hearts unfold like flowers blow forth the opening to the sun above. Melt the clothes of sin and sadness, drive dark of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with the light of day. All the works with joy surround the earth and heaven's rapid cry. Stars and angels sing around the center of unbroken price. Field and forest, vale and mountain, flowery meadow, flashing sea. Singing bird and flowing fountain, call us to rejoice in thee. Thou art giving and forgiving, ever blessing, ever blessed. Wellspring of the joy of living, ocean depth of happy rest. Thou our Jesus Christ, our brother, all who live in louder din. Teach us how to love each other, lift us to the joy divine. Mortal joy in the happy church speech, the morning stars began. Prophet's love is ringing our us, brother, love binds man to man. We're singing, march we onward, victors in the midst of strife. Joyful music leads us onward in the drum song of life. Thanks so much.
And now, you were going to bring us your wonderful instrument. Is it called the canoe? Just wait till interesting how so we forgot to mention Shelley Neal and her husband Peter. Shelley is my harp instructor because in my spare time, I decided I'm going to take up the harp. People know my spare time. But it's a delight to have you here as well. Look at that instrument. In some ways, it echoes the harp, doesn't it? Do we need a microphone? Okay. That is very powerful, Imam. Very powerful. Do you want to share with us maybe the history of that instrument?
Yeah, this instrument is, in Turkish traditional instrument, and in orchestra in Turkey, this is the king of instruments. That's it.
It's very powerful, very powerful. As the theme of peacemaking, I can't help but think of all the wonderful things we've been doing just here at Manor Road as well. It was about a year and a half ago, we had a call to create 15 barrels that went to Haiti. Remember the problem for Haiti and all the challenges they faced there. And then we had 10 barrels that went to Jamaica. And then there was another barrel that went to help a young mother who was having a child. And in connection with the Roehampton shelter, we were in the midst of making an ongoing project called Home Kits. So what happens when someone leaves a shelter and finds a place to live? We create home kits. And so the home kits include pots and pans and dishes and linens and things, just so that when people move in, they have something that they can help make the home happen. And last summer, it was quite an amazing moment. There was a call from Thorncliffe Village, Thorncliffe community. 500 backpacks were created for children and youth to go to fully brand new backpacks, fully loaded with pens and papers, and as a way to make a difference then. And it's been quite remarkable. And it reminds us that all of us share and celebrate something that's so unique in each of our communities. Now, people have had a chance to think a bit. Does anyone have any questions of our wonderful Alexa about stone soup? Just put your hand up and I'll come with you with the microphone. Leonard's always good for a question.
Thank you very much. John Joseph, should I direct the question to you?
Alexa.
Alexa. Hi, Alexa. I'm sorry we might be wrong today. But unfortunately, my memory isn't very good. It's a strange expression, stone soup, because usually soup is liquid and not solid, if I remember my chemistry correctly. So why is it called stone soup, and what is the program all about?
Well, the stone soup story is really named after the folks story that is in multiple traditions. In fact, I think in the Jewish tradition, there's a Canadian author that wrote Bone Button Borscht. So Aubrey Davis, who is a dear man, and we've talked about the versions of stone soup. But in each one of those stories, the idea is that what seems to be nothing of value, right, brings people together, and actually the value comes from the people coming together. So in the Stone Soup Network, there is an empty store online, and each person brings what they can. So in some cases, a massage therapist can do one a month. In some cases, they can do one a year. And we recognize that Stone Soup's philosophy is giving from the abundance. And so when that one a month and that one a year goes into the store, suddenly the construction worker that works the long shifts but can't afford the work on his body is suddenly cared for by a neighbor. One of my favorite stories is the Stone Soup came about because we were at our church inviting a group of refugees, a family of refugees, into sanctuary. They had had a terrible lawyer who had a less than 1% acceptance rate. He was actually disciplined by the Law Society, and they were facing deportation and death. And they came to us and they said, "Can you give us some time while our new lawyer?" And so they were in our building, and we had to ask for everything because they couldn't leave. If they left, they were arrested. And I went one day to the hairdresser because Joseph had said, "It's been months, and I know it's a silly thing, but a haircut would mean so much to my spirit." And so I went off to the hairdresser, and I said to the hairdresser, "You know, they can't pay. They can't come to you. You have to come to them. In fact, you kind of have to keep their identity and location secret. And, you know, I mean, I don't know, sorry to ask, but could you? And she said, you'll never guess, but like, just last night, I was sitting at home with my boyfriend saying like, I really want to do something good in the world, but all I know how to do is cut hair. And I said, we need you. And this light bulb went off that when we give what is ours uniquely to give, when we are told that our gifts in the world matter, right? Something changes in us. And at the same time, I had a gentleman coming to see me every few months. He had had a very difficult situation, came as refugees. He had terrible heart conditions, so he couldn't work anymore. His wife also had health issues. She just went through breast cancer the year before. 2 of the 3 kids had autism. Every time I saw him, he was stoic and certain that God would provide. But this one time, he was in tears. And I thought, what more? What more could have happened? And he said, it's my wife's birthday on Saturday. And after the year of getting through breast cancer, the children want me to take her to Swiss Chalet. But I can't even get groceries for tomorrow. What kind of a man am I? And the other light bulb went up. That it takes more than grocery cards to feed the soul. That when our children go to school with children who get trips to Disneyland and they say to their parents, why didn't Santa bring me what I asked for Christmas? But there's a tearing of the fabric. And there is a pain in the soul. And that there is an answer to that. And that answer is all of us. That when we come together like we are tonight, when we bring each one of us our gifts, we change the story. We change the story. People are no longer alone. People are no longer suffering on their own and seeing a world of emptiness and of scarcity. There's abundance, a more than enough for all. And there's a transformation of those individuals. We've seen in our own community that we are transformed by the act of caring for one another. We're starting to ask bigger questions like, why is there these systemic issues and what can we do about these systemic issues? And it all came from, I'll cut your hair. I'll feed you when your family, when you come to my restaurant. You know, I'll do your nails. I'll care for you. You are my neighbor, you are my sibling. And I am fed by that act as much as you are fed by that act. So that's the whole premise behind Stone Soup, is that we just have a platform where people can share from their abundance with neighbors in need and learn how to become community again, especially after these isolated times.
Thank you. Now we come and call on a wonderful Imam Ali, who's going to bring the call to prayer. Say it 18, right?
آمين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. O Allah, all praises belong to you. You are the light of the heavens and the earth, and all praises belong to you. You are the sustainer of the heavens and the earth, and all praises belong to you. You have sent so many blessings on us, so help us, show gratitude, grant us wisdom and awareness, keep us away from foolishness, and grant us a share in every blessing sent down by your generosity. Grant us health in our bodies, our souls, and our faith. Grant us faith with good conduct. Grant us success followed by a better success. Grant us mercy and healing from any sickness in our souls and our bodies. Please, oh God, forgive our mistakes and our sins and shower us with your blessing, peace, and joy. May Allah make these months of Ramadan, Easter, Passover, and etc. beneficial, productive, and rejuvenating for the bodies and our souls. You are the sustainer, so answer our prayers, our God. Accept our deeds and our repentance and keep us committed and both intellectually and spiritually revived until the next month of Ramadan and the other religions for celebration. Amen.
May God bless our time. I think the power went out with the microphone. May God bless our time together as we break bread. And as there are vegetarian, there are actually also regular meat as well. And hello, would you want to explain maybe what people will be eating? That probably is a good idea. There'll be chicken and rice. Dessert baklava. Yeah. Okay. And what we'll be doing, we're bringing it to you because we're trying to have people not moving around. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay.
Our heart doesn't desire tea, coffee, or beer. Our heart desires a good conversation with the Lord of friends. Tea, coffee, music.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر لا إله